Adam Pesapane, more popularly known as PES, is an Oscar and Emmy nominated American director and stop-motion animator. PES started his stop-motion journey way before YouTube even existed. A self-taught animator, PES first became truly fascinated by the possibilities of stop-motion after meeting and viewing the work of Czech animator Jan Svankmajer. Svankmajer is well known for his surreal use of objects within his films, and this really piqued PES's imagination further as to how he too could animate objects in his own way. So what is it that sets PES apart from other animators? I think it's two things. Factor 1. Ideas. Upon watching and re-watching Svankmajer and getting to grips with stop-motion through hands-on practice, PES lent into the idea of animating objects in a more narrative way, something which at the time was pretty different. To carve his own unique identity as an animator, he pulled influence from several different places, combining the eye-grabbing, intriguing and concise aspect of commercials and advertisements with the more traditional structure of a short animated film. Film length is something often discussed on YouTube and at film festivals. How short is too short for a short film? Back in 2001, when PES started uploading to his personal website, Eat PES, many deemed his creations too short. Making films 1 minute or less was a little unheard of back then. But PES stuck to his guns, believing there was space for this kind of thing and, well, he was having viral hit after viral hit, so this ideology was certainly working. After all, who wants to see a 3-minute film that has overstayed its welcome by a whole minute? Well, pretty much no one, and this was PES's standpoint on this. Waffle in whatever medium is just annoying. Short and sweet has served PES very well. To kick off his animation career, he began with 2 chairs. 2 chairs that hadn't really got out much. He decided to let them really go to town in his short, Roof Sex, in which said chairs, well, as the title would allude, had sex on the roof of a Manhattan apartment building. In 2002, this short film went viral, earning PES a Best First Film trophy at Annecy Animation Festival, where he met Svankmajer. And then in 2013, his short film Fresh Guacamole was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Animated Short Film, the shortest film ever to be nominated for an Oscar. Things continued to grow from there. Releasing short after short, many more accolades and acclaim have followed. PES has now amassed over 670 million views on YouTube alone. PES is an ideas man. He is able to see something and change the way it's seen to make it compelling and memorable in a rewatchable way. But what else puts PES above the rest? Factor 2. Attention to detail. PES does not simply animate objects. Each object chosen and mix of objects within a film are carefully curated. He literally trawls the globe to hunt down specific pieces. PES has an eye for what he wants, and he doesn't settle until that vision is found, making his films have true quality. PES has said in many interviews that he often starts with a core ingredient of a film, an object imagined as another object, and then he builds out the whole film from there. In 2008, PES produced another viral hit with Western Spaghetti, a short stop-motion cooking film. And if my sources are correct, I believe that PES was the originator of this subgenre of stop-motion animation. Copycat channels have been popping up over the years, many rising to view counts and subscriber numbers that will literally blow the average content creator's mind. Maybe niching down in that way is the secret to success. But every journey on the platform is different, so always carve out your own path. To this date, PES has made 3 stop-motion cooking masterpieces. The most recent, Submarine Sandwich, was funded on Kickstarter, raising $49,000. This was one of the films where PES hired a co-animator, in this case Dylan Markey. Most of the shots involved PES himself being in the scene, and well, it's pretty hard to animate yourself in that way. Trust me, I've tried. So this made sense to bring someone else into the mix. There are often layers of detail to PES's films. He likes to keep the surprises coming and make you think a little about some of the object associations that he makes. They're not all obvious replacements. Some are a little more surreal, which I guess ties in somewhat to his early influence from Jan Svankmajer. When choosing objects, PES considers many aspects, from colour and texture to functionality and similarity. Every detail is carefully chosen. As with a lot of animators, myself included, nobody taught PES how to animate. He learnt by doing. His fascination and curiosity drove him to action, and that repeated action created skill. The films PES creates have a sort of commercial feel to them. They hook you in like an advertisement you might see on the TV. But how did this quality come about? Well, PES didn't study film at college or university, but instead he became an assistant to a creative director at an ad agency called McCann. This is where a lot of things clicked into place and the magic really started to happen. PES realised that a lot of advertising is about telling a really short and concise story with a product attached. This is where his moment to shine really came. Making super short form films with the flair of a commercial? At this point in time, in the late 90s, this wasn't really being done, and by the time YouTube came about, PES was one of the first uploaders of this kind of work too, enabling him a great position to dominate a lot of on-platform attention. Ideas plus detail is where PES thrives, and he has applied this magic combination to over 75 commercials to date, as well as his vast portfolio of personal short films. A lot of what makes his films work too is this kind of tease, reveal, play with the viewer. He leads and then surprises in a very watchable way. So what have we learnt so far? Have great ideas, don't be afraid to keep things short, and, well, pay attention to the details. But I have a few final thoughts too. PES didn't try to be like anybody else. He did something different, something that wasn't popular at the time. He combined his knowledge of advertising and he paired that with traditional short-form content, creating this strand of film that is unique to him. If you want to get known in an area and be exceptional, perhaps you should think how you can combine skills. Is there something unrelated to film or animation that you're also really good at and can apply that knowledge to your niche to make a hybrid that nobody else is doing? Most of us have multiple interests, some related, some not. Write down everything you're good at and see where things overlap. Perhaps there's something you hadn't even thought about that could catapult you to success. Another thing I love about PES, as with other popular animators too, is that he shares his process and is frequently posting behind-the-scenes insight. For anyone fascinated by the stop-motion technique or wanting to learn and develop their own skills, this is fantastic. I genuinely think that often behind-the-scenes content is the best part of a film. It is always what I seek out whenever I watch anything that I am impressed by. What else can we learn from PES? PES never rushes an idea. If it's underdeveloped, he sits on it and lets it bake a little longer in his mind. No gestation period is too long for his films. If an idea is not quite ready, he doesn't force it. Audio also plays a sizable part in the viewing experience, and often PES creates sounds himself. Just like his attention to detail with choosing the objects, he also has a very specific idea about what sort of sound will really connect and enhance an image, movement or idea too. Essentially, PES is a pioneer in condensed storytelling. Before short-form platforms existed, he was there to experiment with video length and champion the idea that short and sweet is a format that our brains love and are in tune with. Just like commercials seduce us with their shortness, short films can too.